Seeing the frames go up is one of the most exciting stages of the build. I'm Josh, a builder here in New Zealand, and this video is all about the framing process. You may have seen in some of my previous videos that we use pre-nail frames, and if you haven't already, go and check out the pre-nail factory tour. For me as a builder, it was such an eye-opening experience heading to the factory and seeing the work that they put into those frames. As an apprentice, I have gone through the experience of building frames start to finish, and we can do that as builders, but it's not the most efficient use of our time. So for the majority of our builds, we use pre-nail frames, and they arrive to site in a pack ready to be stood. So the framing process, funnily enough, I actually have a frames up checklist. The first stage is to prepare. Obviously you need a concrete slab. Probably the next most important thing is to mark all your grid lines. We call these grid lines or offset lines. Basically you want some nice straight lines that you can measure where your frames are going to go. So then we would stand the frames. As you're unfolding the frames, you want to work out how to not double handle them. Essentially you want to lift it up, put it in its spot, stand it up, and then move on. We then straighten them and shoot them down to the concrete with concrete nails. We brace them up. Once they're all in their place and shot down to the bottom plates, we work our way around and we plumb them. Plumb means that from the bottom to the top is like nice and straight. And so you want to plumb your corners so that this corner and this corner are both plumb, and then that gives you a nice square corner to work off. Once the frames are in place, there's a lot of finishing off work. We have to do nail plates on all of the joints up the top. If we're not using a rigid air barrier, we'll have to do stud straps, and then all of the frames will have hardware to bolt down into the concrete. This wall behind me is a firewall, so that has some extra hardware on it as well. So as a client, this is a really rewarding stage because you finally get to see the shape of your house unfolding. Ideally at this stage, the plans are locked in, but also if there are changes to make, this would be the easiest stage for us to manipulate things before we start putting roofs on, weatherboard in, and internal lining. If you want to move something, for example, when I was building on the section nobody wanted, I moved a couple of my windows up or down. I even moved the entire sliding door to the right. This is the stage to make those decisions. Do a walkthrough, make sure you're comfortable with the layout, make sure things like kitchen splashback windows are at the right height. Tomorrow the scaffolders are going to come and put the perimeter around. We'll also get safety nets up, and then we can start your roof framing, another exciting stage and a step towards the build becoming weather tight.